not that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Why does he sing Café Anyway at the beginning of every show? Because he's at Café Anyway, and that's where he does Mike's Daily Podcast, broadcasting from Podcastro Valleymont, the last place on earth, at Café Anyway. And I hope you enjoyed your Christmas. I could not have asked for a better one. It helps when you have someone that you really, really love. Did I say love?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Love is what makes the holidays, and when you don't got it, it sucks. So it's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Very nice, and it's good to remember when you are blessed by things in your life, and you have to think about them when you are in the light of Christmas time. And there are trees everywhere, and people are wearing a lot of red. I saw a lot of red everywhere, and that was pretty fine to me because red's a cool color.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I'll tell you one of the most interesting places I went to over the past couple of days, the Trader Joe's in Reading.
Mike's
Wow, that place.
Daily
The bathroom
Podcast.
looks like you're walking into a mine shaft.
Yeah!
Yes, that's a pretty interesting thing. You're walking into it's got the forced perspective thing, like the bathroom hall is going to go on and on into this mine shaft. It's pretty cool. Is that the podcast picture today? No. Maybe. I don't know, but welcome to episode 1700. Oh, today is a palindrome. I said the last show was a palindrome number, but this today, because the last show was on 12/21, 1221. Palindromes are those things like boob. It's the same words going in and letters going in as out. So B-O-O-B. Mom, I guess, is a palindrome. M-O-M. And then, so today is 1771. I just found that fascinating. The last episode was on the date 12/21. And now that we've gone all numerological on you, the show, I listened to someone listening to this show, by the way. I was telling someone about this podcast, and they went and listened to it. And I was listening to the podcast as they were listening, and kind of watching their expression. And mostly, you know, when you're actually sitting there and you're the one that does the podcast, they'll ask you questions like, oh, wow, are you really at a restaurant? Oh, wow, and you do this every day? Oh, wow, and that's you? That's you right there? Is that you?
And here's today's podcast picture.
Yes, that's me. Hi, I'm me, and I'm doing this podcast. Well, I've decided now, after hearing my podcast, that I guess I'm going to do absolutely no changes whatsoever. Because it is what the show has become over the years. And I'm looking at... Oh, I should have started off the show with don't go on Facebook, but I just did. Wayne Coy, Mel McKay, and two others recently reacted to a video you are tagged in. What video am I tagged in? Oh, I hate that about Facebook. When you get tagged in a stupid video. People, you got to stop being on YouTube. Let's see, what link? Oh, embellishment. Somebody liked the embellishment. That was the name of the last podcast. And then somebody tagged me. What is Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays? Somebody tagged. Why am I in this? What? These notifications are as crazy as the ones you get from next door. I saw someone strange on our street, says a person that I have no idea who they are. Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess... Oh! I guess somebody tagged everybody that I work with on the weekend. That's interesting. That person's lonely. Don't do that. Don't ever tag someone that without... like you're annoying them when you do that. Jeez, tagging. And, okay, so enough, I'm actually literally just closing Facebook now, and it's completely off my browser. Will I open it again later today? Yes, but I'm not looking forward to it. Last time, I found it fascinating. We had all these judges making decisions. And Now I forgot what all those decisions were. What was this? One of them was something to do with Obamacare is dead. And then another judge said to the guy, Michael Flynn, that used to be Trump's not Secretary of State, but Defense, was it? And, you know, because Michael Flynn had knowledge of this and that, and so I'm not going to talk politics today because we're in a government shutdown, and basically, politically, I've been shut down because there's no... I don't work for the government. I work for companies that I guess... Do they get any help from the government? That's a good question. I don't think we get any subsidies in any of the jobs that I work at. But I find that these government shutdowns are just they're tired. We've done them so often. And what have they've been... The biggest one, I always think of Ted Cruz. Because I remember he shut down the government over Obamacare. And I thought, you frivolous idiot. And when he ran for president, I was, this guy cannot be president. And then Trump killed him in all the debates and everything. And I said, yeah, all right. That's one shining light about all this, is that he didn't become president. But then we got Trump. Hey, you're a pro-Trump person? Oh, oops. Let's go outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I don't think anyone listening is pro-Trump. But if you are, whatever. How are you... let me ask you this. How are you doing these days? How are you doing? You know, I know you can blame it all on the media, but at some point, some of this, all these facts, at some point wash over you, and you go, yeah, well... Plus, no matter what president, let's say that you voted for, that became president, no matter what candidate, at some point you get a sort of burn. Like the people that voted for Obama at some point went, yeah, he's kind of acting like he was acting pretty conservative a couple points along the way. And a lot of people who were not, that had voted for him, were, what the hell happened to our Obama? But that's the kind of show we're having today.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I think I will post this picture of Mount Shasta. I got to see Mount Shasta the other day. On Saturday, we drove for about 5 hours to get out of the Bay Area. It took about an hour to get through that stupid little area near Vacaville that slows down. Even on Saturday afternoon, where I would have thought everybody had gotten to that point on Friday, nope, it was still backed up. And so and I remember we got off the freeway because I needed caffeine bad. I was having one of those coffee headaches when you didn't get enough caffeine. And we try and get over to the Starbucks, and it is packed. And it's this tiny... They do this a lot. I don't know what this is happening here, but now I'm noticing there's a lot of Starbucks that have opened up on the property of a gas station. Actually, a couple of coffee kiosk places have done that now. And so you're waiting. You're in this tiny little patch of land that's adjacent to a gas station, and there's no room. And you're like, move! So we just totally abandoned this one Starbucks, even though that took us like 10 minutes to get off the freeway, then back on the freeway, and then we're back in traffic. And finally, once we get out of Vacaville and we're heading north on that highway that eventually connects to 5, it was so smooth. And it was just, we're on the road trip. Now look at all the cute little towns. The cute little quirky towns where you have old motels that are closed up and windows are boarded up or smashed, and the roofs have caved in, all those cool little motels, and you're driving along, and all of a sudden there's a thing called Dutch Brothers Coffee. Ooh, that was interesting. I didn't even know that existed. And you go up, and then we got to Reading, and my lovely lady friend is, let's keep going. We're going up to we're going up to Shasta. I'm going to show you Shasta. And we kept going. We went up the hill and the beautiful trees. And we get up there, and we got to Shasta, got out of the car, and got my dog out, the wonderful Basil the Boxer. And there we were, staring at this enormous mountain. This great big mountain staring down at us. It's beautiful. And it was, we reached our destination, that feeling of you've made it. You're there. And there's Black Butte, some big black cinder cone island, mountain, not island. Island at the top of the world, Jules Verne. And all that beauty is there, and you're seeing it all around you. Then we happened into the town of Shasta, had a delicious dinner. I drank this beer, from a brewery in Ashland, Oregon. It came from there. It's called Caldera, and it was this coffee coconut stout, because I'm one of those guys that likes stouts, and I don't care if you put chocolate in my stout. I don't care. I love it. And my name is Gunter. And then we're walking along the downtown Shasta area, and there's a radio station called Z100, and it's got the window, and you can look right into the studio from the street. And I see they've got a Scott Systems music playing system for their radio station, and I go, I remember I used one of those in Alabama. We used something similar at one of the jobs I have in radio. It was just a wonderful time, and the Christmas lights everywhere. And then we stayed with my lovely lady friends, and they were fantastic, phenomenal people. Maybe I will discuss more about them in a future podcast. I will tell you, one of them has a retreat that she built, and there's a beautiful story. I should have her on to tell this story about how she found this place. And there's a lot of mysticism involved, and a lot of fascinating supernatural things. Wonderful things, this story. And she told me this story, and she cooked and made this wonderful breakfast for my lovely lady friend and I. What a fun time. So, and then my lovely lady friend and I headed back to the Bay Area on Christmas Eve. And then on my weekend job, I have a little side weekend job, which involved a lot of Christmas music and my dog Basil the Boxer. I will have to go into that story at some point, but I have to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for listening. I think we reached... we didn't say hi to some people. That's what I'm missing on today's podcast. Let's say hi to some people that are out here of Café Anyway.
Hello, my Matthews. Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. That was a beautiful story.
About the mountain?
Yeah. And a beautiful story about the story you didn't tell.
It was a beautiful story that I didn't tell, that involved love and finding a place after someone had passed away. Finding a place, a safe place. And then finding a safe place for other people. Now I'm sounding really Oprah-ish, but yes. That's what I was alluding to. But possibly we'll get into that maybe in a future podcast. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. I'm glad you had a great Christmas, Mike. Thank you. I even learned how to make eggnog. Mike, that's really offensive.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
And a cookie tastes delicious with a little eggnog. But yes, eggnog has eggs in it, believe it or not. I didn't know that. It's fascinating. Okay, next show it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Have a great short week.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!